Hello and welcome everybody to Flicker Effect. This is a podcast where each week we chat about the world of film, TV, and pop culture. This is episode number 183, and we are recording on Sunday, August 21st, 2016. I'm David Lott. Joining me this week is Bobby Jackson.
What's up?
Jascha Wilson.
Hey.
And Michelle Curry.
Hey, everyone.
How's it going, guys? Welcome back. Had a good week?
Yeah. I don't know if I had a good week as much as you did. I saw some pictures on social media, and you were at some sort of event. I'm not quite sure what it was.
I did something.
You look like you were having a good time.
He's pulling that down. He's throwing you way out there.
Oh, it's fine. I would have brought it up.
Yeah, I'm sure you would, but I just...
Considering I didn't get a chance to watch anything this week, it's my one thing to talk about.
Oh, this is true. This is very true.
I get a call or a text on Wednesday from my good friend Christy, who has been on this show before. She actually was, she was kind of a regular on the podcast for a while when me and Carlton were doing the show. And I get a text from her. We talk every once in a while. She lives up in Atlanta now. She's like, hey, any chance you'd want to go to a Dixie Chicks concert? So anybody who knows me knows, like, nothing against the Dixie Chicks. They're fine. I don't have anything wrong. I don't have any problems with their music. It's just not my thing. I don't listen to country. But if there were a country artist I'd listen to, Dixie Chicks are cool, but yeah, it's not like I've ever owned an album, never been to a show of theirs, never gone out of my way to listen to their music. I've heard the mainstream stuff on the radio. That's about it. But she asked if I want to go, because long story short, her and her family that were all going ended up, somebody couldn't go, had an extra ticket, and it's like front row seats. Literally the front row. Wow. So I'm like, Dixie Chicks aren't my thing, but front row, fuck, I can't. I've never experienced that. I'll probably never get the chance to experience that or make the kind of money to experience that ever again. So sure, I'll go if nobody else wants to go. And I could tell she had probably exhausted all resources, like, of friends that she knows that actually would want to go.
Come on, man. Don't put it out there like that, because it's like, well, she asked everybody else that she knew, and then she got to me.
And then she got to me. But she knows me. She knows that I'm not the guy that'd be like, yeah, Dixie Chicks.
Right.
Like, I'm sure she asked all of her friends that would actually love to be at their show before she got to me. I could tell by the way she asked. She was just like, almost, half expecting I'd be like, yeah, you know me, Christy, I'm good. I'm not going to go to that. But, front row, I'm like, fuck, I can do that. Why not?
Yeah, how many times do you get front row tickets to go see anything?
Yeah.
A concert. Like
not a big show like that. Sure, I've seen bands at, like, House of Blues, and you can make your way to the front.
Right, but like an actual, like, this is your seat, this is where you're sitting.
Right.
It's like somebody saying, I've got an extra ticket on our flight that we're doing. We can sit first class. Would you want to sit in first class?
Yeah, of course.
Fuck yeah, I want to sit in first class. Like,
and yeah, it included like a pre-show, like, little thing under a VIP tent with appetizers and some swag and a bar. And so yeah, it was down in Tampa. Went down there Friday night, checked it out, had the food, had the show. And it was a good time, man. Like, I had a lot of fun. They're great musicians. I really enjoyed the show. I'd totally go back to see them again, but I'm completely spoiled now by that whole front row experience.
for any concert.
Yeah. Like being able to, like, just lean against the railing right there. It's awesome.
Yeah.
You've got like, ushers that are at each end of that first row, and you will occasionally get these people that come up and try to get up in there, man, and they get those people the fuck out of there. Like, they don't fuck around.
They don't play.
Like, if you don't belong, you're not staying. And no, it was good times. I'm super curious to know what those tickets cost. I still haven't found out how much front row seats to a show like that cost. But
right, along with like the VIP pass for the tent, like.
Jeez.
I'm looking at your photos now, and they are, or maybe it was your friends that you shared on your wall. They are amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Just very cool. So I can't imagine what kind of experience that was. That sounds like it was cool. A blast.
It was awesome. So I had a really good time. And yeah, I really enjoyed that. I'm not just saying I had a good time because I had the whole VIP treatment. Like, the show was really great. They're the great band. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Really good musicians. Like, when I found out you were going, I was actually a little jealous. I was like, damn it. I was actually looking at tickets earlier in the week and was like, oh, maybe I can go and I'll do lawn or something, because it's the outside amphitheater. And I was like, oh, I'll just do the cheapy lawn thing. And I was like, oh, well, who would want to go with me? Like, I didn't even think about you. Like, at least she had the idea to even ask you. Like, I was like, oh, nobody's going to want to go see Dixie Chicks. Like, nah. And so I opted out of it. But they're spectacular musicians. And they do good music, man. And I'm a little jealous.
But yeah, I get there early because, it's down to Tampa. I don't go down there that often. And I know it's like, the whole pre-party thing starts like in the middle of rush hour. So I'm like, I'm getting down there early. Fuck it. I'll get down there and I'll find a Starbucks somewhere to hang out around the amphitheater. But there's like nothing around this place. So I'm like, well, I guess I'll just go ahead and park. And man, I pull into the parking lot. I'm like, dude, I am so out of place. Like, there's just, it's cowboy country life everywhere. Like, everyone's rocking cowboy boots. Everyone's blaring country music. And that's fine. I'm not like trying to if I come across like I'm talking shit, I'm not. I'm just like, that's not my element.
It's not your scene.
I'm like, man, I'm just gonna sit in my car and wait for them to get here.
Fish out of water.
I'm so out of my element here. It was so weird, but it was cool. And I gotta say, if you're a single guy that ever wants, you should go, because the female to male ratio is 50-1. There were no men there. There were women all over the place. That's all I gotta say.
Because I'm sure it's really cute women, and the cute little cowboy boots and short shorts and little crop top kind of things and cowgirl hats, and they're probably they're in a good mood. They got makeup on, they got their hair done did. They're there to have a good time.
There was one point too where I'm enjoying the front row, and I look in. There's a few times I'll turn around and kind of look at the size of the audience behind me, and there's one time I'm looking at, I'm like, man, that's a lot of white people. There's white people everywhere. Everybody's white. But no, it was cool. I had a really good time. A lot of fun. I would do it again. But yeah, that front row experience, I'm like, man, fuck. Now I'm fucked for every future concert, because
this just isn't as good as it was when I saw the Dixie Chicks. You're literally, I can see you're gonna go to a concert that you actually are really interested in, and you're gonna be disappointed. You're gonna be like, it's just not the same like the Dixie Chicks concert was. It's just not the same. And I'm gonna be like, this is your band, this is your group or your DJ, and you're just gonna be like, yeah, it's just not the same anymore.
No.
I think everybody has that one concert experience where they're just kind of blown away. I know I have, and you're just really kind of spoiled for any large or new venue that you haven't been to. You're just like, yeah, it's good, but this one was just kind of crazy, crazy good. So I know I have, so it's just, I get it.
There's also something too about when you see a band for the first time. And it's, a band can always be great every performance after that, but it never feels the same as that first performance. There's certain bands, a band called Cowboy Mouth, for example, I've seen probably 10 times live. But that first show was something else. And sure, they were great all those other times I saw them, but it still wasn't like the first one. And I can see that. I'll probably see Dixie Chicks again someday if I get the chance, and I'll be like, oh man, not only am I not in the front row, but it's just something about it. It's not the same. But oh well. Anyway.
So when I first saw, I think the first picture I might have saw was on Instagram. Yeah. And it did say DCX World Tour, but I at the time I wasn't putting two and two together that
what that meant.
Dixie Chicks. But I saw your friend, she had a shirt on that said racism sucks, and I was like, where's David at?
What is going on?
What rally is he into?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, what's he doing? And then I saw some more pictures, and it started to kind of come together. But yeah, it sounds like it would have been really, really cool. Was it hot outside? Because those amphitheaters, it always seems like it happens in the heat of summer, where it's just unbearable, and you have no cover because you're not indoors. And
well,
it's just
at least the majority, all the seats in that amphitheater are covered, even though it is open air. But yeah, if you're on the lawn in the back, you're out in the sun. Of course it's Florida, it's August, it was hot. The worst part about it though is right before the show, we got a pretty good rain. And yeah, you could argue that, it cooled it down, but then it was muggy as shit after, during the show. By the time actually the Dixie Chicks came on, It got better, but for like one of the openers, it was just like, oh my God, I'm swimming in the air.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
That's a shame
We have
because...
a concert.
No,
I'm
go
sorry,
ahead. I was just going to say it's a shame because like that amphitheater in Tampa, like usually the way it's built is it kind of funnels the wind. And so usually there's a spectacular breeze kind of constantly going through. But like, and I would say I've been to a lot of concerts out there, and I would say most of them have that lovely breeze. But one of the last ones I went to, for some reason, there was no breeze. There was nothing. And I was under the cover, thank God. But at the same time, like, it was a nightmare. It was so ridiculously hot and just so uncomfortable. I can't even imagine what would happen if it rained. Like, ugh.
Yeah, it was a nasty, swampy mugginess for that show because of the rain. I was shocked, though, that I had to pay to park at that place. No. Like, I pulled in, and I'm like, no one's going to take my $20 bill. I'm expecting to drop $20 on this. Like, really? Sweet. I don't have to pay to park. This is awesome.
I thought about actually going, like knowing when there's a really good party tailgate concert going to go.
Just go tailgate.
And just go tailgate for the day. Just because it's free, and you can just go tailgate all day long, like hang out with people and drink and eat food and listen to music and just, socialize. Like, it's a fun social event. I love tailgating. And so, like, yeah, like, oh, when's Jimmy Buffett coming? That's a fun crowd. Because it's free to park. You just go all day long.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a venue out here. I don't know if Bobby's ever been there, but it's kind of out by him, just really, really far out there. But it's probably one of the most miserable venues I've ever been into. It's just this outside arena, and they always do this huge hip hop concert out there every year at the end of the summer. And for whatever reason, they always manage to pick it on the hottest day of the year, like where it's like 103 in dry, dead heat. They run out of water. They don't have enough bathrooms. They run out of alcohol. It is like, it's sometimes you get some of the most incredible and fun bands. Like the one time that I went, I got to see Rage Against the Machine do a reunion concert.
Wow.
Tribe Called Quest, Wu-Tang Clan, Most Def, Cypress Hill. Like, I'm talking about huge names.
That's a good one.
Exactly. And it's like, you're like sitting there like, this is great. They do one every year, and it's Rage, Rock the Bells. But I went one time and literally almost passed out, probably like 2 or 3 times while I was there, because there's no shade. The grass is basically dirt because it's just, they don't water it. It's out there in the middle of nowhere, and it's just absolutely miserable. So it's like, I won't ever go back. And I had a friend of mine who was like, hey, we're going to go do this one time. And I told him, I was like, hey man, you go ahead. I'm not going to go because of X, Y, and Z. And he went and said when they finally got to the big events, yeah, it was cool. But he's like, I won't ever do that again because they ran out of water again. And, the bathrooms were overpopulated again because, people are in there trying to, hydrate and get water on them. So.
Concerts.
Yeah.
It can be a crapshoot venue to venue.
I did, I remember my college years, Warped Tour once or twice.
Oh,
and
God.
Same thing, man. That would be in the middle of the summer here in Florida. I remember one year I was an idiot, didn't put any sunblock on. I got completely cooked. So I always used to that kind of thing when it comes to big festival shows. And then when I lived in LA, I went to Coachella one year. And that's, comparatively speaking, that was like heaven.
Oh, really?
Coachella, there's a shit ton of room, just tons of space. It's easy to get away from people. And it's Southern California, so it's it's in the spring usually, isn't it? Early spring, so it's the weather is just it's perfect. It's outdoor music festival weather, just gorgeous compared to all the other festivals I would go to.
I don't understand why Florida has festivals in the summer. I literally have not understood it. I'm like, our festivals should be in October, November, February, March. That's when festivals need to be. And they're always like, oh, it's in June. I'm like,
no. No.
Are you kidding me with this? Mm-hmm. June? Oh, Florida.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. So movies.
Oh, movies. If you guys want to talk about movies, that's what you're into.
Hey, we cover everything on this show.
Exactly.
Yeah, concerts and music. It's entertainment.
Yeah.
Pop culture.
I need to go, and I always say it. I need to go to more shows. Every time I go to a show, I'm like, man, I need to go to more concerts, and then I never do. It's just too expensive usually. That's why I usually end up going to the kind of House of Blues level type stuff because that's affordable. I can do that. Right. But the big shows, big arena shows and stuff like Dixie Chicks, that's usually out of my price range.
See, now I like arenas. They're air conditioned.
Oh, they're great, but they're still expensive. That's my point.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah. You guys all saw War Dogs this week, huh?
Yeah,
seems like it.
Yeah.
Looks like it.
Wow.
New release this weekend.
Nobody wanted to branch out and see what was the other one?
Oh, Bobby saw Kubo.
Ben-Hur.
Oh, Ben-Hur.
Nobody
Yeah,
wanted
that's
to-
the other
out this
big
weekend?
release. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh. See, and that's why it is where it's at in the box office.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if that was coming out this weekend or next weekend, so that's my bad. I thought this weekend it was just War Dogs and Kubo and the Two Strings.
Right.
Yeah, well, Ben-Hur came in at 5th in the box office.
Oh.
I knew it was bomb. I told you it was gonna bomb. Nobody wants to see that bullshit.
Oh, yeah, I think we all knew that was going to bomb.
It's a good idea. I just you could see looking at it like it doesn't look like it's executed well, and the promotion for it was total crap.
It's not to say that
when
you
don't
it's not to say you couldn't make a remake of Ben-Hur and do it well.
Right.
They
No,
could
yeah.
have. You could tell that this was not.
This was not what it deserved.
Right.
And it's just one of those things like it just should have been done. Yeah. You watch the trailer and you're like, this is not doing the justice to the storyline, to the original. Obviously it's not, because the promotion for it was absolute horseshit. I mean, it was. Anyways.
So yeah, I mean, while we're talking about box office, yeah, it was at number 5. Suicide Squad was again number 1 in what its third week.
Really?
Yeah.
But
Totally.
I mean, you got to look when you look at the numbers though. The numbers were kind of spread out pretty well. I mean, yeah, Suicide Squad only pulled in 20.7 million. Sausage Party at number 2 pulled in 15.3. War Dogs was 14.3. Kubo was 12.6 at number 4. So there was a very kind of almost even spread of money.
It's interesting. I
top
feel
5.
like it's extremely reflective of the fact that like most schools in the nation are going back into school. And it's like they're either already started or they're going to be starting tomorrow, a lot of schools. And so it's like, yeah, this weekend's kind of a quiet weekend. Like
They also dropped, percentage-wise, too, a lot. I don't know why War Dogs honestly didn't do better. I thought it was going to do much better than it was. But Suicide Squad dropped 52%. That's pretty damn huge. And Sausage Party did as well. So
yeah.
But yeah, like you're saying, it's kind of we're pretty much out of the summer already.
Yeah.
When it comes to movies, theaters, box office. I mean, you look at next weekend's releases. We've got Don't Breathe, Hands of Stone, and Mechanic Resurrection are the big releases next weekend.
Jason Statham.
So,
have you guys seen the trailer for Don't Breathe yet?
Actually, no, I haven't. I don't think I have.
I have.
I don't know. I see the poster and it looks
good.
familiar to me, but I don't think I saw the trailer.
Yeah. I'll be probably checking that one out.
yeah,
I'll
I'm
report
interested in
back.
that one as well.
You know what's interesting also about the way the box office has gone is if you think about it, any movie that might be comic book related, if it comes out in August, it almost can just coast through the whole month because as we've sort of seen, there's not a lot of competition that comes out towards the end of the summer and into August and September. And I think when Guardians of the Galaxy came out, it came out in August and it was able to just kind of build on itself because there was no other thing out there. And plus it was a good movie. But obviously it shows that if a movie that's as divided as Suicide Squad was able to come out in early August and still be number 1 3 weeks in, then obviously it's showing there's not much competition out there.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, War Dogs. I'm curious to know how it was. Who wants to go first?
No Bowl of Destiny?
Oh, I mean, we can.
Oh,
I mean,
I see you
there's three out
looking
of
at the
four.
bowl over there in the corner.
Saying.
You
Might as
want me-
well.
want me to
Maybe
get the
we'll make it
ball?
official that I'll have to go first. So you might as well, throw that down there. Let's make it official.
Well, I mean, since it's not all 4 of us, we're not going to go too official. I'm sorry, there's no introduction this time. I can't do that. I don't. I mean, you want me? I could add it in post, but I probably won't. So,
Lazy.
yeah. God, please. I don't have time to watch anything. Think I'm going to add this in post? God, that's a lot of work. Jascha,
oh wow.
the bowl
Look
has
at that.
spoken. And how was War Dogs, buddy?
You know what? I enjoyed it. I thought Jonah Hill was really, really good. It was an interesting story. I did find it kind of a retelling with just different guys for Lord of War, the Nicolas Cage movie that came out, I don't know, some 10 odd plus years ago or whatever it was. I thought it was interesting. It was almost a how to be an arms dealer type of instruction manual for people with, the talking of websites. And, I don't know how accurate it is. I haven't done that much kind of research. But then again, I don't want to be an arms dealer. So there's that. Jonah Hill was really good. Miles Teller was really, really good. The small role that Bradley Cooper had in it was very effective. And I thought that was a really nice addition to the movie. And honestly, I thought it was interesting and kind of a fun story. Like, I thought Jonah Hill really kind of killed it in the movie. Like, he was good. It was really good. I enjoyed it. That's really all I can say about it.
All right.
Yeah, that was quick and
that's quick.
Decisive.
Michelle wants more time because she just saw the movie, so she's like, "Come on, please! I don't want to be first. I don't want to be second."
You think that'd be perfect?
I saw it today.
You just saw it.
Yeah, I saw it earlier today, so it's like, I kind of just got out of it as well. I don't know. I just enjoyed it.
I like kind of giving some time sometimes after I see a film to kind of like let it sink in and like really ponder it and think about it. Like, I don't know, not all the time I will say, but sometimes I like to reflect. Like, there's been times I walked out and I'm like, yeah, I liked it, and then 4 hours later I'm like, actually, I don't think I did like that. Like, I'll like start analyzing parts of it and I'm like, oh no, yeah.
Well, you can let us know now because you're next.
Of course.
What'd you think?
Of course I am. I thought it was entertaining. I didn't think it was anything great. It felt, I don't know, it's got this similar vibe to the whole kind of like Wolf on Wall Street. And what's the other one that did really, that's
Big Short?
Big Short. Like the way they kind of, at least in the way the movie kind of started a little bit, it kind of got away from that a smidge there towards the end. But it really kind of was like, so here's the breakdown of this. This is what this is. This is what this does, And like, I find it entertaining, but I'm wondering how long Hollywood's going to keep allowing us to do that. You know what I mean? Like, this is how we broke the industry kind of a situation. Or how we figured out how to work this industry, how we figured out how to work the system and do this. And then go like, like in the beginning, the first couple of minutes, they're like, looking at a soldier, what do you see? And he's like, I see $17,500 worth of gear. He's like, that's what I'm looking at. And like, they break it down like on the screen. I'm like, okay. I mean, it's cool. I like it. It's a cool concept, but I'm wondering how long this is going to keep rolling, And then, yeah, it kind of goes that way too a little bit, with them like kind of living it up and partying and their relationship. And I don't know, it just seemed really reminiscent of it, but it was just interesting to see kind of the juxtaposition of the two characters, between David, Miles Teller's, and then Jonah Hill was Ephraim. Like I don't know. It's like the way, I will say, yeah, I agree with Jascha. Like, both of the guys did a really good job. Actually, I feel like Miles Teller really kind of pulled it out because I feel like he really kind of tried. I don't know. I was impressed. I was surprised by him in this film, especially like towards the end scenes. But like, yeah, when they first like show Jonah Hill, like you just see this guy is this character that's larger than life. Like almost immediately, like it just like he's oozing over somebody, and like you're like, what the hell? And like he's just so, I don't know, he's almost schmaltzy in a way.
He's like a sleazeball. I mean, that's kind of how I interpreted him. The minute he walked on screen, I was like, oh, he's a real sleaze in this movie. And it's like they didn't really hide the fact that they were trying to do that. Like, it was just that's why I thought he was so entertaining. Like, I'm with you on everything that you're saying and kind of like how you felt about the movie and how it's like, yeah, actually that's more how I felt. Like, it was entertaining.
I mean, and like you could see like his motivations in life towards Miles Teller's motivations in life. I mean, really pretty crystal clear. Like the first time Miles Teller's character goes to Ephraim's office, I use my little air quotes, office, we'll say. He goes to the office and there's this huge picture of Scarface on the wall. And it's like, I mean, and I say this, and I know tons of people that have Scarface posters and pictures and whatever, but you could tell pretty quickly how much there's a part of him that kind of almost idolizes that. Like you could see like this is what he wants. Like that's the guts and glory that he wants out of life. At the end of the day, just go big or go home. Money, power, being in charge. Like you pick up on this personality trait really quick, and Jonah Hill delivers it so freaking well.
Yeah.
And it's just entertaining to watch them the whole time through. I mean, I will say I feel like the speed of the film is a little slow. There's a lot that they could cut out, especially in the beginning. It's a little too, let's break everything down kind of in a way, like between their personalities and their lives. But overall, it's entertaining. It's funny. But again, a part of me feels like this is kind of the way Hollywood kind of puts out these stories. It's kind of already kind of wearing me down a little bit in a way. But and it's based on a true story. And it's funny. Yeah. I remember this. Like all of a sudden it clicked. I'm like, oh, I remember this happening around 2008. Yeah. Like it all like it was just so funny. But it's an entertaining story. I think Miles Teller is probably one of his, so far what I've seen that I've seen is he's doing really good. And Jonah Hill he dazzles as the sleazeball Ephraim, and it's
down to the very wardrobe. Like he wore like the baggy sleazy clothes, like kind of a suit that fits, all the gold and bracelets and rings. Like he just emanated douchebag.
The
like
fake tan year round.
Yeah,
it was a little orangey at times.
Yeah, he just. Did you ever? This is really a little off topic, Michelle. But did you ever see Whiplash? Did you see Miles Teller in Whiplash?
I haven't, and that's the thing. Like David just almost.
Dude. Oh my!
Dying inside.
He's dying right now. I know, and so like I feel like that's why I said until I've seen that. Like that's what I'm saying. From what I've seen in Miles Teller, this is where I think he's starting to pick up. But I really need to see Whiplash. I know I'm horrible. I don't belong on this show. I just lost all credibility.
No, it's not like that. But
it's not that bad. But it's like
it's not like you didn't see Force Awakens or something. And then we'd be like, all right, you got to go.
It's honestly, Michelle, like if you think this is where he picks up, like you need to see Whiplash.
I've heard.
Is hypnotic. Like it's just like. It's so hypnotic. You just really are engrossed in every character on that screen. And it's basically Miles Teller and J.K. Simmons.
Yeah,
that,
I know.
You're just so in love with. And I can't wait for you to watch that movie because I'll watch it now. Like if it's on, it's like, oh, okay, well, Whiplash. Let's watch this scene, before I have to go somewhere or do something. Because he is so good in that movie.
I will give... I've got two more things about War Dog really fast. So Bradley Cooper jumps into it as a character for a few scenes. And it's so funny. Like I like Bradley Cooper. I enjoy him, but I'm kind of tired of these films that he's quote unquote in. And it's just these like little like weird cameos. And I feel like he keeps playing the same effing guy each time. And I'm getting kind of tired of it. I'm like, is he, what's his agent doing? Or is this what he really wants to do with his time? Is just pop in and out of a film every now and then and just play the same character in a different setting every time? Like, it really kind of annoyed the crap out of me, especially in this one. Like, it really just got under my skin. I'm like, God, Bradley, you're so much better than this. Like, this is just, And then as I'm leaving the theater this evening, I'm walking out, I'm looking at the posters on the outside, in kind of the corridor where you buy your tickets and everything. And I look at the poster, and sure as shit, the poster for this, which I apparently have paid zero attention to prior, is exactly like a Scarface poster. Like, it's reminiscent of a Scarface. Like, it's wholly copies. I'm like, oh, that's interesting, because, like, the Scarface just comes up over and over throughout this film because it's a part of Ephraim's personality in a way, in the way that that's the way he ticks. And so it's like, it's this constant like reference that comes up. And like to see the poster of it today, it was just so funny. I was walking in the car and it just caught my eye and I was like, son of a bitch. They even did the poster like that. Anyways, that's what I'm saying. It's an enjoyable movie. It's an enjoyable ride. A little slow sometimes, but otherwise it's a good one. It's something, it's much better than other things that are out right now, I think.
My what the hell moment wasn't so much as that, but what the hell was Dan Blitzerian doing in there? I was like, what? Why is he in this movie? I was just like, what? Yeah. Oh, that was terrible. How much did you guys have to pay that asshole to be in a movie? So,
then.
That's kind of where I was when I saw that. I was just like, oh, what the ever, man? Seriously? And then just like, I rolled my eyes and went back to the movie.
All right, let's deal with this for a little bit. No.
All right, Bobby, the bowl saved you for last.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that it did because I really don't have much to add. I kind of agree with both of
Aw.
them.
Yeah.
And Michelle pretty much said any and everything that I was going to say about it.
Oh.
It's yeah, it's entertaining, and I definitely agree. Well, for me, I would say the only place I really differ from them is that I really didn't enjoy Miles Teller in this movie. I seen his range, and he's better than this. So it just felt like you could have inserted any actor in his role, and it would have been just fine. In fact, I honestly feel like the movie sort of suffers from his perspective. And I know that this is
Oh.
like a Todd Phillips film, and he did the Hangover movies, and so it definitely has that comedy over the top edge to it. But I think if he would have stuck to what he does best, Todd Phillips, then he would have changed the perspective of this movie being from Miles Teller to definitely to be in Jonah Hill's perspective. And it would have been a more wilding out kind of movie in the way that it felt like it was trying to be at times. And it would have, I think, benefited from that because every time when I see Jonah Hill on screen, I'm so invested because he's so crazy and you don't know what he's going to do. And he's just like wild. And then when it would cut to what Miles Teller was doing in his life, I was like, all right, yep. Look at the watch, kind of, and not necessarily. I wasn't technically looking at my watch, but it was just like I was couldn't wait
Right.
to get to the next scene where there was some more heat going on with something else happening. And so I thought it would have been more of an effective movie if it was told from Ephraim's point of view. And I even think just with the voiceover, I don't know that I needed it for this movie. It could have just been a solid movie without the explanation for everything. It could have just been just a story that told itself as opposed to having it told to you, so to speak.
Yeah,
But
I
it was
feel like
definitely entertaining.
yeah, I feel like they worked the voiceover thing really well at the beginning, and again, it's like the way they're doing some of these films, and then it's like they get away from it at some point, and then all of a sudden it like comes back in. It's almost jarring when it does come back. It's like, oh, that's right. There's a
Yeah, I'll agree
voiceover
with
thing,
that.
you
Yeah,
know.
I got you.
And I actually kind of enjoyed the Miles Teller perspective, but I think that's more humanizing of the film. Whereas Jonah Hill's perspective as Ephraim, like it would have been almost like watching Wolf of Wall Street in a way, just
I
this
agree.
over the top personality that nobody can really quite relate to.
I agree with that. But to me, I think in order to do that, well, okay, or at least for me, in order to make it told from Miles Teller's perspective and to humanize it, I think you have to invest in that character. And I guess I never invested in his
I
character
gotcha.
because he was already sort of doing bad stuff and being stupid about doing the bad stuff that he was doing. I was like, well, his story is already kind of boring because he's messing up when there's a certain point of perspective or a certain point where he should just cut his losses and stop, but he wants to keep going as opposed to if you flip it and you see Ephraim, you just know he's just gonna
Right.
crash and burn. So let's just tell his story and let's wild out like Pain and Gain or something of that nature, where you see that this is already over the top. So let's just go full throttle
Right.
towards that way, as opposed to trying to give me someone I can kind of relate to. But I don't know that I can relate to Miles Teller's character. I know they tried to help me make me relate to him, but I wasn't able to fully do that. So that's where I felt like I was more curious about Ephraim's point of view and his story.
I will say I did like kind of like almost the like chapter titles that they had for each kind of segment.
Oh yeah.
And I have to say, my favorite segment, and it's so obvious because it's so like kind of an over the topish kind of moment. But my favorite segment was the whole like, God bless Dick Cheney's America. I was like,
Yeah.
God, this is it was one of the funnest parts I think of the whole film. And it was totally needed because I felt like the film was really dragging until that point. And I was like, God, they got to do something to lift this bad boy up. And then that scene happens, and I'm like, hallelujah, because I needed it. And it was funny, and yeah, it was good. It was just so good. It was needed. But yeah.
Well, I will say after listening to all of you, I will, not that I would have time to see it in the theater anyway, but I'll
No.
definitely be waiting to see it another time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
good
check
to
it
know.
out.
Good to know. There was another film that came out this weekend, Kubo and the Two Strings. This is the latest from Leica, who also produced Coraline and Paranorman and the Box Trolls. Bobby, you saw it, and I'm curious to know what you thought. It's getting pretty good reviews. Do you agree?
You know what? It's funny because Leica's movies, I've seen them in the previews, but none of them have ever made me want to sit down and watch them as much as this one. And so I haven't really, I think I've maybe seen parts or maybe seen Paranorman all the way through. I can't quite remember.
Paranorman's pretty cute.
I think I've seen that one, but the other ones I haven't seen, and they just never, I don't know, they just never captured me enough to go see it. But Kubo, it just had this interesting story to where it had magic and samurais and just this whole idea of that civilization that you don't see anymore, but told in this point of view and in a story that doesn't quite seem like it's for kids, and it's honestly kind of not. Like, I think this is maybe for a kid that's at least 10 and up, because it deals with some more adult type themes to it, such as death. But it's such a well done film, and I don't know that it will get enough credit for how good it is, because people see it and they just see animation. But I don't know that they understand exactly what all goes into making a Leica film, because they don't just do animation. They build these models and they take sculptures, and they really take their time with every aspect down to cloth and detail of the clothing of the characters and everything. So I almost wished when I was watching it, because I was sort of in awe of everything, knowing what's going into it, that they would put like just a little 2-minute video, a featurette right in front of their movie, but so you can kind of get a sense of what they're doing and how long it takes and how difficult it is. And they actually do show you a really small piece of that towards the end of the movie, after some of the credits, and them building one of their one of their creatures in a large size scale model of it. And it's a lot of craftsmanship that goes into it. And then to add on top of that, you're actually telling a good story, and it felt like it was something that it has familiar themes to it, but it's told in a way that I thought was very interesting and very, very well done. And I thought like this was one of those movies where, of all the animated films I've seen this year, this one's, it stands toe to toe with, like, for me, one of the better ones, which was Zootopia. And then the only other one that I would think maybe people will, I don't know if anyone could compare it to anything else that's really out there that's animated, because this feels different. It doesn't give you that same sort of Finding Dory sort of story to it, towards younger skewed, and this one just, it really feels more adult, and yet something that an older kid may be able to understand. So it doesn't really have a lot of point of comparisons with some of the other animated features that came out this year, but it's one that I feel like if you have a younger kid that's within that realm of 10 up, and you yourself like these types of films, you have to go see it, because it's so well done and well crafted that it was just an enjoyable movie to see it, and knowing what was put into it, that I hope more people get to see it.
And the reviews for it are quite sparkling, actually. The mix between the animation stop motion and then the actual storyline, they say it's top notch, and it's definitely one of the best storyline and animation stop motion things that's been out in a while. And it's people are raving about it. They're saying it's one of the best children's / animated film of this year, if not in the last like 2 or 3. People are loving it. The critics are loving it, I should say. The critics are eating it up with a spoon. I wanted to see this film too. I just didn't have any time. It does. It visually looks stunning and just refreshing as far as animation goes. And yeah, I mean, like, I even saw Coraline, and I enjoyed Coraline. And again, like, the stop motion in that is really spectacular. And it's like, I feel like with each of these films, it's just getting more refined and it's getting better. Yeah. And it's like this one, just the trailers, like just seeing the trailers like in a theater on the screen, I was just going, God, that movie is going to be amazing. Like, just visually stunning. Like, it looks like there's big vistas of snow at times and mountain. the way they did it, it just looks spectacular. And the storyline apparently is just, it's just done very, very well from what I'm hearing. I'm looking forward to seeing this one myself.
Yeah, me too. I really want to see that. It looks so good.
Yeah, I would say if the last stop animation film you saw was Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, you got to step your game up. It's come a long way. It looks a lot different, and it's so much more fluid than it ever was before, and that you wouldn't almost know that it's stop animation and stop motion. A lot of people don't know, so it's that good nowadays. But it's so well done, and just the amount of work that goes into it is just amazing.
Very cool. All right. Well, what else? Hey, Michelle, I know you saw another movie this week. You saw you hadn't seen a little backstory. Yeah. So yeah, I'm working on my only Dragon Con costume, because you can't go to Dragon Con without a costume.
Yes, you can.
You really, well, that's right, Michelle's. You are. Sorry, I really wasn't thinking about that.
You can go without a costume.
You can. I went my first year without a costume. You can have a perfectly good time. I don't mean it like that. But I am working on one costume. I waited too late. I did not prep all year, and at the last minute, I'm like, fuck, I need to come up with something else. And I tried to find a costume that would be relatively easy to make, and I decided I am going to do Steve Zissou from The Life Aquatic.
Oh. I thought you were going with the Imperial Stormtrooper.
Oh no, I am also still working on the Royal Guard costume, but that ain't gonna happen by Dragon Con.
Oh, okay.
So that's gonna still happen.
Okay.
But no, not by Dragon Con. But I wanted to I gotta find something I can do by Dragon Con, so I decided, okay, I'll do Steve Zissou, and it's definitely my first foray into any type of stitching. I purchased actually a sewing machine earlier in the year, knowing I'd be working on the Royal Guard costume. And I finally got it working for this costume, and it's been an experience. But anyway, so since I've been working on that, it came up that you hadn't seen Life Aquatic,
right,
Michelle? So yeah, you just watched that. What did you think of that?
Well, and I'll quickly go over it. I'm saddened because when I really sit down and I look at Wes Anderson films, the actual list of what he's done, I've really not seen a lot of these, and I feel like my education, at least with him, is just severely lacking. And
I'll say too that mine could be better. It sounds like I've probably seen a couple more than you have, but there's definitely a few I still need to see.
And I'd like to give Royal Tenenbaums another go, because then even upon reflection of it, I'm like, did I even watch that movie the entire way through? And I feel like I might not have even seen the whole thing. It was on HBO or something, I saw it and then something came up and I wound up not watching the end of the film. So I really need to rewatch that. And I never saw Moonrise Kingdom, which you've seen. You liked it.
Yeah, I liked that quite a bit.
Yeah. And then
I know it made my top 10 that year. It was up there. It might have been number 2 or something. I can't remember.
Yeah. I did see Grand Budapest Hotel, and I loved it. That was in my top 10 that year. Mm-hmm. I love that film. I thought it was spectacular. Which has kind of gotten me on this whole, I really need to get my Wes Anderson knowledge up. And so, yeah, when you were I'm making this costume, and I was like, oh, yeah, I've never actually seen that film. So we wound up watching it, and I enjoyed it. It's got that weird kind of quirky Wes Anderson comedy to it, and the storylines, it's intriguing. You're watching the story unfold, and it goes out into left field, and it eventually brings you back around again, and then it kind of goes out into right field for a little bit, and then brings you back again. So, and I kind of like that. I kind of like seeing that journey with his films. And of course, visually, the color scheme, the way he always works, he works within a certain color palette for every film, and he stays true to it for the most part, and it's spectacular, and I love it. And I love even he almost does I don't even know how to call it, but he always seems to integrate a weird almost a stop motion kind of 3D. I don't know how he does it, but it's you're looking at a drawing, but it's live motion is actually happening in it. I don't know, he always does this, and I love whenever he does a cut to that in a film, and he does it in this one. I don't know. It's just fun. I like getting the quick, like 30-second background to somebody. Like, oh, this is this person's personality. Boom. This is this person's history and personality. Boom. And like it's so fast, and you totally get this person from the split second you go over them. So it's fun, and it makes me want to watch more of these movies. I will say I did like Grand Budapest Hotel better than this one, but I did enjoy this one for sure. And I need to continue my Wes Anderson education further.
Well, while we're talking about stop motion, and then we just talked about Laika, the stop motion that's in Life Aquatic, Henry Selick, I believe, did all that work. Who directed Coraline? Who directed Nightmare Before Christmas?
Well, there you have it.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to Wes Anderson too, I mean, I'm not much better. Like, yeah, I've seen Moonrise Kingdom. I had seen Life Aquatic and you hadn't, but I also sadly haven't seen Rushmore.
I haven't seen Rushmore.
I haven't seen the Darjeeling Unlimited.
I want to see that one.
I haven't seen Fantastic Mr. Fox yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've seen, the others, Grand Budapest, Moonrise Kingdom, Royal Tenenbaums.
It's interesting because he definitely has, you can tell he has a love affair with the stop motion because he did Fantastic Mr. Fox, which is entirely stop motion. So yeah, and I mean, honestly, I just bought Fantastic Mr. Fox off of Amazon literally before we started the show because I'm like, damn it, I'm watching this film because it has spectacular reviews and everybody loved that film when it came out. And I'm like, we need to see this film. This needs to happen. Like, I've been wanting to see it for years and it needs to go down.
Right.
But yeah, no, Wes Anderson, we're gonna start vesting some time into you. I feel like I've got the Coen brothers pretty well understood. It's time to start vesting time into another person.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Cool. What else, guys? Or Jascha, you saw, weren't you talking about the new show on Netflix you've seen a little bit of, The Ranch?
Hanging out on Netflix.
Yeah, I've watched a couple of episodes of The Ranch. It's there. I mean, there's really not much to really address when it comes to it.
It's something if you need something to watch.
It really.
I just took a gulp of water and I almost spit it out. I was like, "What is happening?"
I've never heard something described as being
It's there.
It's there.
It's so. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to make it sound negative because I actually think people should watch it, but it's a sitcom.
Right.
It's definitely just a sitcom, and the only thing that's different is that it's a little bit more risky. The language is a little bit harsher because they'll swear, they say fuck and shit on the show, which is kind of a surprise because they have a laugh track in the background, or they actually are recording in front of an audience, which I don't know about that, but they definitely have laughing there, and it's for the most part it's funny. There have been some really funny parts, but it's pretty unsubstantial, I guess is the way to say it. It's it's just a sitcom.
There's not a lot of depth.
Not super a lot of depth, but the acting is fine. It's like I said, it's funny and it has its moments. Who is the dad? I can't remember.
Sam Elliott.
Yeah, Sam Elliott. Thank you. He's really good in it, but it's like he's playing almost every other character that he's ever played ever in Hollywood.
That's Sam Elliott's stick.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what he does.
God bless him. There's a sea of women that just obsess about him. But he pretty much plays the same character / person in almost anything he ever does, and he can totally get away with it. It's honestly for the most part, it's fine. It's fine.
I'll watch it because I'm a Sam Elliott fan. I like his work. I like Ashton Kutcher's work, and I like Danny Masterson. But it's basically Danny Masterson playing the character that he did from that '70s show.
Oh, that's kind of depressing to hear, actually.
Yeah, I mean, he has little quips and smart-ass comments, and the sarcasm plays into it big time. And Ashton Kutcher plays this football character or football player who was the high school hero and didn't really make it, and comes back to try and establish some sort of normalcy. And Deborah Winger is the mom, and she's kind of funny. And I mean, that's pretty much the gist of it. Alicia Cuthbert is in it, but she's I haven't really seen anything that I was like, oh, that was really funny by her. Like Ashton Kutcher and Danny Masterson kind of playing off of each other are the funniest parts, and the dad, Sam Elliott. But I mean, for the most part, it's it's a sitcom, and it's kind of a predictable joke written sitcom. So
you can take it or leave it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably finish it because I don't think it's that many episodes, and it's only 30-minute episodes, but it's definitely something good to watch to kill time. Also, Ethan Suplee's in it. I don't know if you remember him from American History X. He was also in My Name Is Earl. He played Randy, Earl's brother.
Oh yeah. Oh my
With
God,
Denzel
I remember
Washington.
him from an old TV show.
Yeah, I mean, and I've only seen him pop up once, but even him, when he shows up, he's playing a character that's kind of like a. I hate to say this because it sounds so bad, but kind of like the big buffoon type role, like just kind of like.
Yeah, that's what he usually does. It's his typecast for him.
Yeah,
Unfortunately.
Like, come on, man. Oh, Thomas Wilson popped up in one of the episodes, but he was only in one episode. I don't know if he's going to come back. I haven't finished the season yet. And if you don't recognize the name, he was Biff Tannen from Back to the Future, which is just a goddamn shame because that's all anybody knows him from. They're just like, oh, yeah.
You know, it's funny.
Yeah,
He pops
sure.
up on the weirdest TV shows. Like,
He really does.
so randomly. So one summer I got super, super bored and I decided to watch The Ghost Whisperer. And he's in it for like a whole season. Like he's dating one of the characters. Like I remember the first episode I was like, son of a gun, is Biff Tanner. That's my first gut reaction. Oh, that guy plays the weirdest stuff.
Yeah, and he popped up in The Heat too with Sandra Bullock and Melissa McCarthy. He was the captain in that. He does stand up every once in a while in Irvine, and I'm honestly really interested to see if he's funny, because like I would love to go and see is like, dude, I wonder what he has to say, because I like the fact that they keep giving him headlining shows like on a Friday and Saturday night. It's like I feel like he does pull a crowd, and probably has this cult following of people that really enjoy his comedy, and I'm missing out on it because all I know him from is him playing Biff Tannen and popping up sporadically in shows that I'm not expecting to see him in. And then when I do see him, all I say is, oh my God, it's Biff Tannen. Like, it's just, it kind of sucks for him, but he was good. I mean, he had a very small role, but he was definitely there. So, I mean, like I said, the show was a sitcom. It has its moments where it's very, very funny, and then its moments where it's just a very predictable joke.
Cool. We got a little bit of time. Any trailers anybody seen lately that were interesting to them? We had talked last week, was it, about the trailer for, was it The Arrival? Mm-hmm. But that was kind of a teaser. Now full-length trailer's out, and I'm curious to know what do you guys think of that. We talked about it a little bit off air, of course, and I mean, I'll say real quick, I was kind of hesitant, I think like you were, Bobby, to even watch it, just because I was like, well, the teaser looks great. Maybe it'd be kind of nice to not really know what's going on here and just kind of go see the movie, because I'm sure I'm going to see it either way. At the same time, then I did watch it, and I'm glad I did, because I fear if I hadn't, I maybe then would have gone down a road of expectations as to what was going to happen, and then I'd go see the movie and it would be different, and not necessarily bad, but because it was so different, then it would throw me off and maybe disappoint me. So it's nice after seeing the full-length trailer. Now I have a better sense as to, okay, what kind of movie this is going to be. And I'm glad I know that. And I don't feel like the trailer like reveals too much or anything. So, and I mean, and in the end, I'm still excited about the movie. I think it looks good.
Yeah, I agree with you, David. It didn't really reveal too much. And once I saw that, I was like, okay, I'm in. I'm interested in watching this now. I still say, like my comment last week was, I hope it's not another Contact scenario where her dad shows up at the end, but it was, it looks good, and I'm interested, so I'm all in as well.
Did you end up watching it, Bobby?
Yeah, I did, and it doesn't really do anything to spoil aspects of the film that you hope will remain that hidden until you watch it. It just kind of expounds upon the first teaser a little bit and fleshes out a couple more of those scenes, and kind of gives you a little taste of what the alien is like, and some of the problems that presents itself with those aliens showing up. And I think it's just enough to intrigue you a little bit more into seeing how everything unfolds.
Cool. Did you watch it, Michelle? Not yet? Oh. I didn't mean it like I'm trying to call you out. I just asked. I'm getting a look, so I'm just...
the look.
No, I've sadly not taken 2.5 minutes out of my busy scheduled life to watch this trailer. No, it's sad. I don't know why. Like I remember you guys were we talked about it off air and you guys were really excited about it. And I was like, yep, I'm going to watch that later on today. And then it just never happened. And then just hasn't happened since. And it's like the moment we sat down to start recording tonight, I was like, oh, I need to watch that trailer. And then I watched some other trailers. Then I totally didn't watch that trailer. I was like, I'll get to it. It'll happen.
You saw the teaser though. And
I did. I saw the teaser and I liked the teaser. Like I liked it off the teaser. Like I said, it looks interesting. And almost, for me, it gives me almost a feeling of the movie The Abyss. But maybe that opinion will change when I see the full trailer. But I'm interested. I think it looks good.
Cool. What else was there? There was a new trailer for, what is it, Hidden Figures? I would say who's directing it, but I don't know how to pronounce that last name. Melfi. I guess it's just Melfi. Theodore Melfi.
Let's go with that.
What's he done before? St. Vincent? Oh, these are producer credits. I guess this is really his first. No, St. Vincent, he directed that. But yeah, anyway, I remember hearing about this movie being made. Looks like it's basically about a group of black women working in the early days of NASA. And a lot of good actors in it. It looks really great. I mean, Michelle, I can tell you're super excited about it.
So I had not heard of this film at all. Like the making of this film, like I had zero knowledge of this. And like I watched this trailer and I was like, oh my God, like why is this like not getting just promoted like a mofo? And I realize it's not out till January.
Yeah, it's got a ways.
So it's got a ways. But like, oh my God, like it's got Taraji P. Henson, Octavia Spencer, Janelle Monáe, Kevin Costner's in it, like Kirsten Dunst is in it, Jim Parsons is in it. Like there is a sea of spectacularness happening here, and it's like the storyline looks awesome, and I'm like, these are films that need. This is the original female story movie films I'm looking for. Not this like, oh, let's reboot and remake and rewash whatever this male version was into a female version. This is what I'm looking for in films right here. I want to see original ideas. I'm always a sucker for historical things. Like, no matter how far they stretch the historical facts of it, I'm down with it. I am such a big sucker. But, like, yes, this is what I want. This is what I'm looking for. And I'm so happy to see it. It's such a breath of fresh air for me. And, yeah, I hope they promote the hell out of this. If they could even move it up into December, that'd be fine.
Well, I was going to say, it does seem... It's an interesting fact that it's being released in mid-January.
Yeah.
A movie like this, just by the way it looks, it seems like, oh, this could be, if it's really good, maybe something with some awards potential. But if it's being released in mid-January, and that doesn't seem to be like, oh, this is a wide release date, like that seems to be the date. So,
and it's a downside because for me, when I see mid-January, I feel like they're trying to bury it. And I'm like, no, this looks fabulous. Like, it visually looks good too. Like, it makes me sad. Like, I'm like, that's why I'm like, yeah, if they push this bad boy into December, I'd be super excited.
Well, do we know what else they're releasing in January with this movie? Because, I mean, they could be trying to bury it, which would be a shame because if it's a fantastic movie, now it's just not being seen. And it's going to be buried by whatever explosive movie.
Well, historically, January is just not a very big film profiting
movie month. Yeah,
movie month. Yeah. And that's why I'm saying, are they just trying to just forget this happened? And it just upsets me because, like I said, these are the films I'm looking for on all female, mostly female cast as the main leading roles, and it just this is what I want, and I want more of it all the time.
Bobby, you're gonna say something.
No, I was just going to say, I kind of feel like January kind of gets a bad rap, but it brought that bad rap onto itself because it has been a dumping ground. But that's not to say that if you release a good movie in January that people won't show up for it.
Right.
Typically, horror movies that get released in January do pretty well. And so it's not like the audience isn't willing to go in January. It's just that Hollywood has seemed to... That's when a lot of their budget for marketing runs out. And they just pretty much just dump things there because they don't want to promote them and market them. And so they just end up not being seen, whether the movie's good or bad. But I think a movie like this, it could benefit from good word of mouth, and then it could actually do well within a time frame where probably there won't be much else out at that time.
Yeah, I'm praying word of mouth just blows up. I mean, I really... I'm really hoping they do get behind this film because I think the storyline is intriguing. I think the people they have in it are spectacular, and I think it's something that is just we're not seeing very much of, and I think we could really use it.
And then really quick, I actually didn't see this trailer for The Sea of Trees. I think some of you guys did.
Yeah.
Really quick, before we get out of here, what do you guys think of that, Bobby?
Yeah, to me, it looks like it's going to be one of those adult movies where it's not necessarily like an action-driven or a highly developed plot-driven movie. It feels like it's one that deals with a theme or a subject. In this case, it looks like, and I guess I should say who's in it. We got Naomi Watts in it and Matthew McConaughey in the two lead roles. And it looks like it's a situation where Naomi Watts is playing a character who's ill, and then Matthew McConaughey's character is trying to help find something that could possibly help her. But it looks as though it could be a slow burn kind of movie, but one that's, I don't know, not necessarily an Oscar type film, but a movie that is not the typical remake or prequel, sequel, or anything of that nature. It's an original film, and it's telling a smaller, quieter story. And for all those people that complain that there's not enough original movies, then maybe this should be something you should be able to look at the trailer and see if it maybe strikes you enough to go see it.
Or go ahead, Michelle. No, go ahead.
Okay. Well, so I was going to say it's interesting because watching the trailer, you're watching it and you can see very little bit, but you can see that this is a marriage between Naomi and Matthew McConaughey's characters. And it's a strained marriage. And then apparently, she gets ill. And it's interesting. Then there's a scene where, Matthew's in the woods with Ken Watanabe. And he's popped in and out of the trailer. I don't know. The trailer doesn't give a lot, but it gives enough. It's a Gus Van Sant movie, so that I feel is kind of foretelling of what you're gonna get. But at the same time, like I'm reading the definition on IMDb, and I kid you not, this is what it says on IMDb. A suicidal American befriends a Japanese man lost in a forest near Mount Fuji, and the two search for a way out. And that's intriguing to me because you watch the trailer and I was like, wow, that's a whole nother storyline that I did not pick up on at all. But, what else? I don't know. It looks intriguing. It looks like it could be kind of long-winded and, kind of a little bit of a slow burn, like Bobby was just saying.
Jascha, did you watch this one?
I did watch the trailer. It looked depressing as hell. I'm just gonna say nobody else is saying it, but it looks depressing as hell. No, I mean, in all seriousness, and all kidding aside, I mean, I like Gus Van Sant a lot. Like, I can't remember watching any of his movies and thinking, oh, that wasn't very good. I really enjoy all of his movies. I actually am bummed that I haven't seen Milk because that's one movie that I did want to see. I know. Gasp, pause for dramatic effect.
No, it's a good one.
But
I think you're gonna kill Michelle over here.
Yeah, I know, right? I think it's a good one, and I'm sure it's a good one, and it looks good. It looks really sad. Like Bobby said, it's a very dramatic piece. I hate to say adult type themed movies but it it really does feel that way. It's just going to be very dramatic. Like, I mean, it's about from what you said, and just like in the trailer, their marriage is rocky to begin with, and then it feels like they're going to kind of find themselves right when she gets ill in some invasive surgery that she has to do. We don't even know yet, but let's go pay $750 to go watch this woman die on screen. Like, I mean, it's just, I know it sounds so negative, but like, and I'm in. Like, I'll go watch that. I'll watch it and probably just be like, all they had was each other. Like, I mean, it's just,
it looks like it's a good tearjerker.
Yeah, it's nothing else seemed to matter once they found each other and made it back to the lake house. But it was it looks good. I'm interested. I think it's going to be probably a really beautiful movie, and the music is probably going to be amazing because Van Sant usually does choose amazing music for his films.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, this is coming out actually next weekend, and it appears
Are you serious?
it's also getting a VOD release at the same time as it's getting a limited release. So that's good for me because I might actually watch it then. I don't have to go anywhere.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
hey, sweet. I won't even watch the trailer. I'll just watch this next weekend.
Yeah, I feel like Van Sant's really good at capturing like nature and like the best time of year in the setting that he goes to. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like, yeah, if they're going to Mount Fuji, it's going to be the most beautiful scenery we've ever seen of Mount Fuji ever. But yeah, you'll actually get to see this one if it goes just popping in the evening. Put the kids down to bed.
Yeah, it's funny. I had to look it up real quick. I forgot he directed Good Will Hunting.
Yeah.
What? That's like the one right there.
Well,
That's
I know.
Like the
But
one.
Good Will
Parts
Hunting
at all.
to me is a movie that when you think more about the writing than the director, and I feel like it's not a movie that even though it is Gus Van Sant that was behind the camera, there's not a lot of focus on the director of that.
Right.
Because my thought was, as you guys are talking about Gus Van Sant, and don't get me wrong, I'm totally aware who Gus Van Sant is, but I had a thought, I'm like, you know what? I don't know that I've ever seen a Gus Van Sant film. So I had to look that up.
Good Will Hunting.
And then I was like, okay, I've seen Good Will Hunting. I didn't realize he had
Okay.
directed that. But
It's funny because when I think of Gus Van Sant, the first movie that comes into my mind is the Psycho remake.
yep, there's that too.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why,
kind of
but it's probably because it was controversial because it was just a shot-for-shot remake of it, and I remember at the time when it was coming out and the hoopla, and I think that was probably the first time I had really heard his name, and it's just like has always stuck with me as that being a movie associated with him. But I know I've seen his other stuff, and obviously he's definitely beyond that, but that just seems to be one of those things where he's attributed to that misstep. I'll say it that way.
Yeah. You know, it's funny because there's a film that it just didn't do well at all, but it's one of those that like when you watch it, it kind of sticks with you. Have you ever seen Finding Forrester?
Yeah,
you
that's
guys-
a great one too.
That movie
did
is
see that.
so good,
about
right?
that. So
and
good.
it just didn't
So
do
good.
very well. And it's like nobody. It's a shame. I feel like nobody saw it. It just didn't do well. But God, that movie is fabulous.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's so brilliantly written.
Oh my
So yeah, I'm right there with you. That's right up there with the movies that I look at when I think of Gus Van Sant. Is the first I think of is obviously Good Will Hunting. I had forgotten about the Psycho thing until Bobby brought it up.
Yeah, I
and
did too.
Finding Forrester, because Finding Forrester was just that was such a damn good movie.
Yeah.
And it was one of Sean Connery's last movies to do. So
Yeah, it really was. You've got to see Milk. It's Gus Van Sant. It's done so well. Like it just tells the story so well, and it just really And I mean, and both the people that star in it are Sean Penn and James Franco. Like they shine in it. It's really you got to see Milk for sure. Sorry. I'm done. I'll get off my soapbox now. La, la, la.
Yeah, I mean, looking through his credits, indeed, Good Will Hunting is the only film of his I'd seen. I haven't seen any of these other ones.
Oh, yeah.
But with that, it is time to get out of here. As always, we'd love to know what you thought of the show and everything we've talked about. You can let us know by emailing us at feedback@flickereffect.com. You can leave us a voicemail and leave us a question and comment. We may play it on the air. Call us at 407-308-5509. And check out our website, flickereffect.com. You can find links to all of our social media accounts, including YouTube, by the way, when you can find all of our episodes on youtube.com/flickereffect, if YouTube is your thing. Just audio versions of these shows. But you can find them on there. Bobby, it sounds like you have something you want to say.
Yes, speaking of YouTube, don't hold me to this specifically, but I wanted to do this thing where I call it From the News to the Tube, and it would be a little segment where I take something that we kind of talk about in the news or that's in the news for the week and do a little video talking about that thing as it relates to something else. So, for instance, this week, because of the box office letdown of Ben-Hur, I'm considering watching the original Ben-Hur since I haven't seen it, and then kind of talking about that for like 5 or 6 minutes or something. So
Awesome.
that will be something to look out for.
Nice.
Very cool. But with that, I'm David Lott.
I'm Bobby Jackson.
I'm Jascha Wilson.
I'm Michelle Curry.
Thanks for listening.